of that's the first thing that we need to get out of the way. The projection of food prices maybe hitting 500 peso a kilo of pork, 300 peso a kilo of chicken. I know you've already said that that's just a projection, and that's not going to happen. Is it the same? Do you believe the same at this point?
That was a projection that was made during the Senate hearing. Uh, Gusto lang namin idagdag na yung projection na yun na ginawa ay again for prolonged period na mataas ang presyo ng fuel cost plus walang gagawin yung ating pamahalaan. At nakikita naman natin base doon sa kung anong meron tayo, inventaryo ng manok at baboy, hindi natin nakikita na aabot sa ganong presyo. At yung projection na yun ay ginawa na local lang yung production. Hindi nakasama yung import na sabi nga ng ating kalihim, Kiko Chulaurel Jr., during the same meeting na yung ating mga cold storages at this time ay punong-puno yung ating mga cold storages ng mga karning manok, baboy at baka kasama yung local at imported. So sa ngayon merong pagtaas because of again yung cost ng movement ng goods dahil sa pagtaas ng presyo ng fuel. Yun ay maliit lang na bahagi ng presyo ng mga karne. So we're not seeing na aabot ng more than 500 ang baboy at more than 350 yung manok at this time.
That projection was given by USEC Nichols, I think is his name. And that's also based on a projection if crude hits $200 a barrel. So what you're saying is, even if global oil prices hit $200 a barrel next week, hindi naman agad-agad na tatalon yung presyo ng pork at chicken dahil marami pang supply.
That is correct. Una, marami tayong supply as you mentioned. Pangalawa, kung titingnan din natin yung presyo ng karne ngayon, both local at imported, hindi again natin nakikita na tataas yun. Plus, pagkausap natin yung ating mga stakeholders, kasi pag tumaas yung presyo ng karning baboy at manok, even yung beef, tutumal din yung mamimili, either babawasan nila yung bibili nila or talaga magsiship sila to other protein sources. Kaya aware dito yung mga stakeholders, kaya ayaw rin nila magtataas ng presyo kung hindi talaga maapektuhan din yung kanilang volume sales at definitely yung kita nila at maapektuhan din yung ating mga kababayan. But again, given the circumstances ngayon, yung mga facts na marami tayong supply, inventaryo ng mga karne, hindi aabot sa ganun. Again, those projections were made during the time na worst case scenario, again, pure local cost computation lang yun, walang kasamang import at walang interventions na gagawin yung ating pamahalaan, especially yung Department of Agriculture.
Well, if I may go to rice, Asika, just today, President Bongbong Marcos already announced the approval of the 50 peso per kilo rice cap on imported rice. How will this be implemented on the ground, Asik, no? And is there a way to ensure that there will be no supply manipulation or hoarding on the part of retailers?
Nagpapasalamat tayo sa Pangulo at nakonsidera yung ating proposal at na-endorse rin ng National Price Coordinating Council doon sa 50 peso price cap para ito ay para lamang sa premium imported rice kasi itong mga bigas na nandito sa ngayon nabili nung dumating kasama na yung cost of freight, yung peso dollar exchange rate saka yung halaga nung in-import ito. Nakita natin na yung 50 pesos would be enough to cover yung price nito up to the retail. Imported lamang ito. At in terms of sa implementation, of course, katuwang natin dito ang mga lokal na pamahalaan, ang Department of Trade and Industry, at saka yung mga market master ng mga LGUs. Sa implementation, of course, yung ating AMAS team will also be the one leading this on the ground.
Pero how sustainable is that, ASEC, given the global pressures? Nabanggit na nga natin the weaker peso. Today, it hit another all-time low. If global prices continue to spike, anong magiging plano ng DA, especially if this extends beyond the 30 days?
Yun nga, for a very short period of time lang naman ito, 30 days. Normally kasi pag lumalampas o ina-implement ng matagal, medyo nagkakaroon ng epekto na yan sa market. So sisiguraduhin lang within those period talaga ma-implement ito ng maayos. Hindi rin natin gugustuhin na mapatagal ito kasi ma-impluwensyahan nga yung pressure rin sa merkado. At you're correct in saying, ngayon tumataas yung dollar, nasa 60.6 na plus yung freight cost makaka-apekto. So we'll review it after siguro 15 and 30 days.
And I'm sure you're well aware of this, ASEC. The thing that economists are most worried about is that yung tinatawag na pass-through costs ay hindi pa natin nararamdaman because the war has been going on for a month, but the imports have already arrived, they have already reached here. For example, with fertilizer, with urea, right? So most of the economists that I've spoken to say the full brunt, the full effects of this war in Iran and Middle East, we'll probably only feel sometime around June, May or June, and especially as well because peak harvest season ngayon, right? What would you say to that?
That's correct. Actually ngayon, peak harvest season ng palay na mais. So wala tayong problema pagdating sa palay and bigas. Sa gulay ay ngayon, summer season, maganda rin yung harvest natin for both lowland and upland. Pati nga nabanggit ko kanina for our livestock produce. Merong kung titingnan natin yung projections natin for yung susunod na wet cropping season, yung next cropping calendar natin na maapektuhan. Kasi ngayon wala pa tayong issue sa fertilizer, but pagdating ng sunod na anihan, makakaapekto yung presyo ng fertilizer kasi it's either yung ating mga magsasaka magbawas ng kanilang gagamitin dahil mahal ang cost ng fertilizer, or kung i-maintain nila yung level ng usage nila, tataas naman yung kanilang gastusin. On the global front, ang maapektuhan ng gusto yung India dahil karamihan ng kanila talagang urea and fertilizer ay galing ng Middle East. So kung patuloy na masasara yung Strait of Hormuz, India being the largest producer ng rice, exporter ng rice, maapektuhan yung global market, and definitely it will have an impact doon sa kabuuan ng bigas na tinitrade sa buong mundo. So isa yan, and pwede itong maramdaman during the third, fourth quarter of this year. Kaya si Secretary, during doon sa mga meetings, talagang nagbigay na siya ng mga instructions na talagang palakasin yung ating lokal na production, and at the same time, if we need to ensure yung supply natin for rice, at tuloy-tuloy yung pagpasok dapat ng import. Yun din yung isang importante, lalo ngayon. Kasi yung rice naman natin nanggagaling mostly Southeast Asia, 80% sa Vietnam, of course, Cambodia, Laos, and Myanmar. At konting bahagi lang naman yung nanggagaling ng Pakistan sa India. But again, definitely on the global front, there might be an impact. So yun lang. As of the first quarter, more than 900,000 metric tons na yung pumasok na bigas sa ating bansa. At importante na magtuloy-tuloy din ito sa supplement doon sa local production natin.
Per ASEC, meron din yung threat ng El Nino. So gaano kalaking factor ba yan? How vulnerable is our local crop productions to that?
Depende sa severity ng El Nino na mararamdaman natin. Comparing doon sa 2024, yung isa sa pinaka-severe na El Nino na na-experience natin. At after nun, nasundan pa yun towards the end, towards the last quarter ng La Nina. So double whammy yun. So again, depende sa severity. Of course, magkaroon pa rin yan ng impact kasi yung availability ng precipitation or water yung magiging problema natin. At kung sasabayan yon ng either ng mahal na fertilizer o kulang na fertilizer, magkakaroon ng epekto sa overall productivity ng ating mga major crops. At yun nga, so dapat ma-ensure natin na itong mga interventions ngayon, again, as per Executive Order 110, kumbaga, na-spell out doon ng ating Pangulo yung kautusan, mandato sa kagawaran na talagang maganap na ng mga fertilizer para sa ganitong nakikita na problema. Isa yun sa mga naging utos ng ating Pangulo sa DA.
Asek, you said the supply of fertilizer is still fine at this point. Some of the economists we've spoken to have said parang may mga shortages na sa, for example, sa Mindanao, sa may mga areas sa Mindanao. And if not shortage if not supply disruption, mataas naman daw, masyadong mahal at this point. Are you able to monitor the price and supply of urea, of fertilizer nationwide?
Yeah. Similar sa fuel kasi ito ay fuel-based, ammonia-based itong fertilizer. Pag tumaas yung presyo ng fuel, nakakaroon ng immediate impact sa presyo ng fertilizer. At nakikita actually natin na nagtataas na yung presyo ng fertilizers for urea, for complete, Amosol, MOP. Lahat ito nakikita na natin na magtataas. At kaya yung talagang ating hakbangin ngayon sa DA ay magkaroon ng karapatang supply. Una yun, maghanap ng supply. Importante na meron nun at ma-ensure na pamamahagi ito kasi ang critical talaga yung susunod natin na cropping season.
Correct.
And meron pa naman tayong enough supply, but eventually ang problema yung presyo. At doon gagawin ng DA yung hakbangin para magkaroon ng sapat na fertilizer yung ating mga magsasaka na gagamitin. Kasi after nung cropping season natin ng May hanggang September, susunod naman yung dry cropping season ulit pagdating ng October, November. This year pa rin. So hopefully by that time, medyo okay na yung fertilizer prices. Pero kung hindi pa rin, definitely
Yeah.
magka-impact pa rin yan.
Yeah, Asek, sorry. Just very quickly, we're running out of time. But how are you planning to ensure the continued supply? Because yun nga yung question at this point. If the Strait of Hormuz remains closed, right, and if the prices are more than 50% up na pre-war compared to pre-war prices, and I know you have a limited budget, so how are we going to ensure continued supply of fertilizer? May alternative sources ba?
Aside from diversifying our sources, kasi ngayon karamihan galing China, Indonesia, and other countries, the Secretary is already in talks with other countries, Russia, Belarus, para doon sa source natin ng mga synthetic fertilizer. Ito nga yung mga fuel, ammonia-based. We are also looking doon sa ibang alternatives natin, kagaya ng mga biofertilizer, soil ameliorants, na can replace up to 50% or more ng mga urea and other synthetic fertilizer requirements natin. At nagkaroon na actually, ngayon yung ating quick response fund will be used to buy this biofertilizer to augment yung o kaya to replace yung ating pangangailangan for inorganic and synthetic fertilizers.
I see. And biofertilizers, there's domestic production of it, di ba? We can source locally?
Yeah, both local and imported. Yeah, we can easily source itong mga biofertilizer at marami rin production sa atin dito locally.
It's very good to hear.